How do I share? All right, here we go. I am live. You think I would remember how to do this? They keep changing this. This is very annoying. All right, doing an intro and then we'll be right back.
It's time for Red Salad Review with your hosts, Wayne New, Greg Normal, and Lou Max.
Welcome to Red Salad Review. I just realized why nobody's here. I didn't send them the link. What a knucklehead I am. Hello, Mr. Kenneth Pike from Absolon. How are you?
Well, hello, Mr. Wayne Noon from Rat Salad Review. I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
Very glad you're doing well. And it's been a while. We talked. I just saw you. We were on Victor Maritz's podcast not too long ago. That was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Talking about Absolon, the band that actually I joined with you earlier.
Yeah.
Late last year. I'm thinking it was this year, but it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, you've been an Absolon member for a while now.
I have been longest reigning Absolon member.
How does it feel to be in two bands?
Two. I'm in three bands.
Three. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and we're actually that band's about to release a single as well. That band's back. Yeah.
How do you do it all?
I don't know.
We don't tour.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, that's hi, Lou.
Hey, Ken, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we don't
Sorry?
tour, but we just make it happen. You just got to do what you got to do. I'm lucky where I work during the day. I get home early enough that I have a few hours before my son gets home, my wife gets home, so I can work on stuff most of the time.
Yeah, well, you do it so quick though. I mean, that's how you fit it all in and do everything so quickly. I don't know.
I don't know either.
A lot of it has to do with with me. It's like when the creativity occurs, like I'll just keep writing and like I'll come up with like 3-4 ideas at once, but then like I'll have a lull because then life catches up. So then everyone else does their parts and I'm like, oh guys, I have another song. So unfortunately, I'm the guy that takes the longest sometimes. Like I'm supposed to be working on a track right now, but like I work from home. We're not live on YouTube yet, are we?
We are live, so give out your address.
Okay. Well, I can't say what I do, but like it's basically it requires my entire attention because I'm like the lead of my team. So if they find out, wait a minute, is Louis recording music instead of doing his work? You're fired. I can't do that.
He's supposed to be working right now too, and he's podcasting. So you're fine.
No, office hours end at 5.
But it's tempting, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I'm ready to say screw you, Wayne. I'm going to record.
Go ahead.
No. You need me more than I need you, Wayne.
I don't know about that.
Okay,
Well, Wayne, there's always Absolon.
There is always Absolon, and I'm not going anywhere as long as Absolon's not going anywhere.
Listen, I don't mind sharing joint custody of our son with you, Ken, but seriously.
I'm sorry, Lou.
That's okay.
But look, I at least I didn't. We don't tour, obviously. I didn't steal him.
No, not at all. There's no beef between Absolon and Severed Angel.
That'd be great press, though.
It would be.
No, it destroyed Dokken. We don't want that for anybody.
Yeah, but nobody knows who we are, really. Think about it.
Well, yeah. No,
yeah.
In the big scheme of things, we're nobodies.
You know,
Unfortunately.
that well, I guess then since I kind of uh lifted Alex from y'all too, that's kind of like what's his name, the five whatever that's playing with Motley Crue, and they stole him from
Oh,
Zach.
John
Oh, John
Five.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I
I
didn't
mean,
do.
just so you know, I promote the album every week and I tell people to go pick it up.
Oh,
So, I love it. I think it's a great record. Um, I got the CD before Wayne got his copy, and
I
I
was,
got my copy before it was on streaming media. So I immediately burnt it to my MacBook, and I was listening to it on my iPhone repeatedly for like about a week and a half before it went on to streaming. And I was like, "Wow, Wayne, this is good stuff." Like, you know, um, it's good to know that he's a member of bands who produce quality music. So, it's great, great stuff.
I got my copy of my CD right here. Oh, wait. No, I don't. Where is my copy
I,
of my CD?
Buy it.
Where are
no,
my CDs?
it. I know I keep saying this. I'm just gonna straight up admit it. I'm lazy.
I know.
The post office is only 3 blocks from the house. I have no excuse.
You don't.
You know what? Tomorrow I'm gonna package yours and Alex's copies. I don't have that many, so I can only send you so many.
That's all
But
right.
and I'm going to go the 3 blocks. It's a long way to go.
You could use the exercise.
No,
Oh my
and
God.
the blizzard out there, but I will do it.
It's not snowing out there.
Well, it might be
It's
tomorrow.
springtime.
It could.
No, I don't think so.
My,
Remember, it did snow in the month of May a couple of years ago in New York, Wayne.
That's New
huh?
York.
Huh?
That's New York.
Yeah.
That's not where he
Uh,
is.
The Midwest, weird weather here. So
well, we didn't get our copies of Skyward in yet from the distributor. So we're
Yeah.
stalled on that.
George has joined the chat and he says the Absalon CDs are with the Skyward CDs, which we have not received the Skyward CDs yet. So anybody who has purchased those, they will be coming.
Blame Wayne. He decided to import them from Portugal.
Yeah, well, that's Mr. Dave Tedder. I will have a talk with him. Our distribution, but it's not his fault. It is what it is.
Got stuck in the muck and mire of the bridge breaking down in Baltimore, Maryland.
that's it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Too soon. Fuck you. I don't care.
Anyway, Ken. So you were on the show. We talked about the early beginnings of Absalon and your musical career or whatever. So if anybody doesn't know, go watch the old episode because we're not going to talk about that anymore.
Yeah.
We talked about that enough. But you wanted to work on a third album, and you were all ready to start working on it. And basically, your band kind of just like this dissolved in a way, right?
Well, I mean, it wasn't really a band. It's not like I had a bunch of members,
Mm.
but yeah, the as you well know the story, the guy that was playing guitar for me at the time, Mark Vanderberg from Germany,
No
and
relation to Adrian, the Flying
yeah,
Dutchman.
no. Mark is as you guys well know, Mark is a phenomenal guitarist,
Mm-hmm.
and but he played on the last Absolon album, which we don't have to discuss, and because y'all know how I feel about that last album. But at any rate, he started work on this one, and we got one song complete after 5 months, and then he had to drop out because of and I totally understood. I mean, he had just gotten a promotion at work, and he has a really I guess I could say important position, the job that he does. And so he was really getting worked to death. And then he has a family, wife and kids. And so trying to find the time for work and the family. And then, I'm throwing him songs and he's having to figure out what I'm doing and then writing the guitar stuff for it. It was just too much. It was overwhelming. So he had to back off of it. Um, it the prop, for me, we were already 5 months or more into it. And of course, Wayne, you were already on board playing drums. Um, so you kind of got to feel some of my frustration on how long things were taking. But yeah, so that, I mean, I guess if you want to say, the band, well, just one guy, but it all worked out really well. I think the universe or, whatever, fate, um, all that was meant to happen. So, um, but there was about 2 minutes there that I was really worried. I figured it's over. There's not going to be another Absolon album, because I can't play guitar like that. So, I can't play every instrument like some guys can. But
Yeah.
so that's the story there. And you know what happened after. Your listeners don't, but
No, they don't know what happened. But yeah, but like you said, it was pretty scary because it's like, all right, I've been wanting to, be on this album here, and all of a sudden just stopped. And I was like, what's going on? And no fault of his. Life happens, shit happens. So I totally get it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I can't. I mean, I, I was when he wrote me and told me that he wasn't going to be able to continue. And I mean, I will admit, of course, selfishly, I mean, I was kind of angry, and I was more angry not because he wasn't able to do it to finish the album, but that we were already so many months into it,
mm,
and I felt like, okay, I've just wasted, all this time. But the thing is, 5 months before, I didn't, have, well, I mean, you were on board to play drums, but, I didn't have uh, Alex, I mean, I didn't know Alex except through you.
mm,
And, so I don't know if it would have happened,
yeah,
5 months before. So there had to be that time, I think, for you and me to get to know each other better and, become friends. And then, and Alex had agreed to mix and master. So then that started building a relationship there. So it's all in the timing.
yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm not, so I'm not, of course, angry or mad at Mark. You know, it. He is a really good guitar player.
It was. I was actually very nervous to play with him because, and you too, because I never know what anybody expects from me. I know I'm not that great of a drummer. Alex might make me sound like I'm like a really good drummer, but to me, I just sound like I'm just okay.
I've
And
known Wayne for
I,
22 years, and he's a great drummer. I've seen
hey,
him
all right,
live many times,
Say,
and
I am.
I've
All
always
right,
enjoyed watching him.
I'm the best drummer out there. But
I did not say that. Neil Peart's dead. Okay, you're nowhere near that, dude. No one is.
Neil Peart, me right here, and now he's gone, so now me.
No, William Hung is a better singer than you are a drummer. There, okay.
wow.
But yeah, I was very excited to play, but I was very nervous because I knew Mark was like a really good guitar player, and then being with you and the way you're singing stuff like that, I was just like, I hope I can make this work. And thankfully we ended up getting it to work and having Alex work on the album and everything. Like what you said, because he was mixing the album, and then we needed somebody to replace Mark, and then I suggested Alex because Alex really could just be the whole entire band himself. He could do everything.
Yeah.
So he
But
came.
having real drums on it adds a depth of,
Yeah, of course.
of it sounding organic and real.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look, I mean,
Mhm.
I did 2 tracks with Alex for a podcast called Generation S Podcast. They asked if we could do a cover of the ECW theme and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme. And Alex used the the Get Good Drums plugin for the drums on that. Now, for something like that, okay, it's a cover. It's for a podcast. Throw the plug in there. But there's just something about like having real drums on a band's album that that it adds to it. I mean, not everything needs to be Nine Inch Nails. Not everything needs to be programmed. And I love Nails, but you know, Wayne, you did a great job on it. You really did.
Thanks.
No, I agree. See that, and that's one of the many reasons actually. Um, I don't like the last Absolon album. I'll be honest with you. I haven't listened to that album since we released it.
Really?
What, a year or two, whatever it was. Um, because it was MIDI drums and bass, and you can tell
Mm.
it's you know as we say in the South, bless Mark's heart. Um, he did a good job of programming the drums and the bass, but it sounds um, MIDI. It doesn't sound real,
Right.
and it's boring.
Ken, is
It
that something you feel in hindsight, or is that like maybe how you felt even then as the album was being done?
um I kind of, while we were recording it, I kind of felt even then as we were going through it that I when it came to the drums, I almost was going to have my wife do the drums because she gets incredible drum sounds. That's one of her in her songwriting. Well, composing. Um, that's one of her strengths. One of her signature things is the drums, the sounds that she gets. Um, they really sound her drums sound like real drums,
Mm.
even though they're all programs. But and I was almost going to have her go back and do the drums, but it would have been way too much work. And she was working on her own album at the time, and I wasn't going to do that to her. Plus, she was writing all the orchestration for that album, all the orchestra stuff she did. That's a lot of work. So so I just went with it. I wanted to get something out, and I think I rushed that album way too much instead of giving it just taking time with it. But it is what it is. It's I said there's a lot of reasons why I don't like that album. Um, my vocals, I'm not happy with my vocals on that album at all, and um, I think it's not my stronger songwriting on that album. I think a there's some good stuff, but I think a lot of it's boring. It all starts kind of sounding the same, and it's kind of monotonous.
Mm.
But that's what you get with the concept. It's really, you got to be real careful when you're doing a full-on concept album. um
Who
you know,
us?
that I got away with it on the
Ahem.
few album,
Yeah.
and it sounded good, and it worked, and it was closer to Operation Mindcrime sounding. But
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done a second one. I didn't pull it off on the second one. Yeah.
I liked it though. There's some good songs on there. It is. I've heard worse. It's not that bad. It's not like unlistenable.
Well, yeah, I guess it's not unlistenable. Yeah, there's two songs on it that I like, but overall,
Yeah. But
it's
I can
because
understand you coming from the person who actually worked on the album. I can understand you not liking it. Because there's stuff that I did in the past where I kind of like I listen to it now and I'm like, I don't like that anymore. You know. So I
Yeah.
get it. I get it.
Yeah. But, you know, that's okay. I feel like I was redeemed with the
Mhm.
new.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
think
what
so
the
too.
second should have been. Anyway. So I wasn't going to talk about the last album,
That's all
but
right. Well, you know what? Because actually, when you were on the last time on the show, we were talking about that last album, and everything was okay. I mean, you were kind of like wishy washy on it a little bit, but it was okay at that point. But now that we've done this album, that album sucks.
And I
yeah.
did mention that Wayne sent me a demo of one of the tracks off Bloodseed, and I was really impressed with it. I'm like, wait a minute, this is an unmixed, unmastered demo of you and Alex playing with Ken, who, you know, we had, I had heard about you from Wayne, and then we met on that New Year's episode, and that's when I told you I was like, I was really impressed. I was looking forward to the rest of the album, and it was totally well worth the wait. I mean, it's funny. We were in the chat earlier with our co-hosts who are not here right now. Um, and they asked Wayne, like, what do you think the difference is between Absalon and Severed Angel? And I'm just like, it's a world of difference. I mean, Absalon, it caters to, traditional metal,
Hmm.
and you could even tell by listening to it that it still appreciates, like, the way older bands sound more layered, more full. There's a world of difference between the way that it sounds. I mean, we make no bones about it with our band, with that, we're embracing, traditional metal with newer production techniques,
Hmm.
like, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you can't hear the difference, get your ears checked. Okay, and both are good.
Yeah. No, no, I, I think that, yeah, Severed Angel and Absalon are totally different in style and approach in that. I mean, to me, your guys' music, um, and see, I feel the same way about your guys' music you feel about, this stuff. Um, the first time I heard it, and it was actually after the very first time after Wayne contacted me about a certain record label, and uh,
News
um,
canoes.
yeah, subs. And so then I went and looked up Severed Angel and um, listened to what was there at the time. And I was like, wow, I really like this. It's kind of up my alley. Um, you guys are more, to me, um, there's a lot of symphonic, touch of prog metal in there. I hear some places I hear a little Dream Theater. Um, yeah, it's your stuff is more orchestrated, I guess, a little bit. Where I think Absalon is more, like I said, traditional metal and kind of just straight ahead. Judas Priest, Queen's Right type stuff.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it. I tell you, I know every time we're on something, somebody's like, "Are you going to tour? You guys, it'd be great if you toured together and stuff." I tell you what, that would be awesome to have a, you know, Severed Angel Absalon tour. Uh, I think because we complement each other musically, um, and I think an audience would really get off on it.
Mm.
But yeah, that is what it is. So
I would agree. I mean, unfortunately, and people do not understand the logistics that goes into planning like a weekend tour, let alone a 2 week tour or a 3 month tour. It doesn't favor the bands.
Mm.
no.
Like, it sickens me that there are venues out there who demand that they take a third of all the band's merch sales for the
Mm-hmm.
night, because they are vendors within their space. And gas prices are ridiculous, and food and lodging are ridiculous. It's like, you know you go to you go on tour with $1,000 in a little safe, a safe deposit box, and then you realize, oh, we end up owing 3,000. So
Mm,
it's like, you know, um, my the only thing I could say to that is, um, you want to keep the music alive, just support the bands directly. Go on their Bandcamp or go on their record
mhm.
label's website and support them directly. This way, it gives them reason to continue to put out new music, because it's like, I mean, I mentioned this. Well, Wayne was with me at one of the last times Ghost played Long Island, and it was one of the bigger arenas, and it was them, Mastodon, and Spirit Box. Wayne, what would you say, about 60% capacity full?
Yeah, about that. Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah,
wasn't much. I expected a lot more, and it was like,
yeah. And meanwhile, you know what show was sold out like a half hour east? An Iron Maiden tribute.
mm,
Really?
Yeah,
yeah.
and I'm just like, this is why new bands find it difficult to continue, because you're not supporting them. I mean, if you don't like them, it's one thing, but if you like them, go see them on tour or buy their merch.
Exactly.
And
Well,
nobody,
yeah.
no, everyone wants to have their cake and eat it too. Sorry, it's true.
No, well, you're
I
right.
like cake.
The logistics of putting on a tour, even putting aside the financial, part of it, um, especially the way we both bands do our, recording and everything, where, we're not all living in the same town, we're not right next to each other or whatever. I mean, just the logistics of getting together and rehearsing, unless you're some major act like, I don't know, Sting or something like that, where you bring all the players come together at some location and you rehearse for a month before heading out on a year tour. You know,
Mm.
we can't do that. So that to me alone makes it almost impossible. And I'm out in the Midwest, and Wayne and Alex are out there on the East Coast, and I don't know how we would rehearse unless we did something like that, you know. But we could just get like one big rehearsal room, schedule a month of rehearsal, and Absolon could rehearse, and the Severed Angel could go in and rehearse. And I don't.
And I need a masseuse for my legs. I can just feel them now. Yeah.
Oh, could you know, think about.
Botox, Wayne. Botox your legs.
Oh, you having to, ever how many shows you do in a week or something? See, 3 or 4 shows or whatever,
Mm.
and you're playing Severed
Two,
Angel, then boom, you got to get back on stage with Absalon.
yeah. We'd have to have like a gap in between in between the bands. I could only imagine, man. I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah, we just have to bring another band on or something, but
Yeah.
I don't know how that'd work. But I don't know. But
Dreams.
it would
It
be
would be a lot of fun.
it would be fun, and it really I think it would be an awesome show. But two really good. But then I'd have to. You've already got all your players. I'd have to get another guitarist,
Mm.
to supplement Alex and
I'll volunteer.
No,
oh,
I can't play with you. I can't. I don't want to play with you 2 nights in a row. I mean, 2 times in a one day like that.
Deal with it. You'll never get rid of me. You'll have to kill me.
you're stuck with Lou. Yeah. No, now there's a thought. Wow,
Lulu, okay, on stage. All right, perfect.
Absalom would be made up of Severed Angel.
God, no.
Poor
That
Mark
would
will
be
be like, don't
wild.
mind me. I'm just a keyboard player.
Well, there is some keyboards,
Yeah, there are.
and if we were to play, say songs from Absalom's debut album, there's piano and keyboards throughout a lot of that album. So your keyboardist could play too.
Hmm. Well, yeah, it may work. Maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens. It
The
would
only
be cool though.
difference would be the singer.
Right? Yeah.
But
Yeah.
um, well, Alex would already be playing guitar, so he would be there to do the background vocals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
not
that's
gonna lie.
great.
I'm not gonna lie. Part of me is just jonesing, chomping at the bit to play, but you know, it's so heartbreaking. It's just
You get to play it with your other thing that you got going.
yeah. I'm playing like Lagrange and Tush by ZZ Top and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and it's great and all that, but it's like I want to shred, Wayne.
Yeah. Eh, maybe
Uh,
one day.
Maybe one day, but
We'll see what happens.
yeah, it's fun. I'm not gonna lie. I've actually forced myself to play slide guitar, and oh, if Rob Vieira heard that, he'd be like, "Lou sucks," because he hates slide guitar.
Uh, but but
oh, man.
but do you miss playing? Because Ken used to play all the time. Do you miss playing out?
I I started, gosh, I started playing. Well, I of course played in garage bands to start with. I'm not going to go on my whole
Yeah, I
musical
was
history.
gonna say we don't have to go live. I just
Uh,
meant recently.
but and we the garage bands, we do little block parties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the band before Malachi is called Town Crier, and then they changed to Vital Signs or something like that. But at any rate, that was the first band that I really got had to play live. They actually played some clubs and stuff like that.
Mm.
And I was bit with you know obsession with the stage from there. From then on, and throughout my entire musical career, um, I lived for the stage. I just the recording and rehearsing and all that stuff is fun. I enjoy it. The recording not so much. Yeah,
Mm.
I get bored, but just man, getting up on that stage, getting to dress up and be another person. I put on a whole nother persona on stage is like, yeah, this is where it's at. Being in front of an audience and just going crazy and
Yeah.
hearing the people clap or hoot and holler after you're done with the song and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's nice to know if that people are listening and actually do like it. That's the good thing about playing live.
Yeah, unless they're walking out, then that sucks.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe they're just going to, they're going to come right back. You don't know what they're doing.
I mean, do you still have credible venues out in the Midwest where you are?
Yeah, I have no clue what's here.
Really?
Club, on of course on the West Coast, I do. Although most of the clubs that I played in on the West Coast, a lot of them are gone now on Sunset Strip, Gazzari's, and I think the Roxy is still there.
Mm.
Madame Wong's, but they're all gone now. I couldn't believe when they tore down, closed Gazzari's. Gazzari's is like that was one of the top places back in the 80s. That was one of the clubs that everybody fought to play in. It was really hard to get into, for a new band to get into that club.
That's where
But
Van
once
Halen
you
cut their
did,
teeth, right?
yep. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, in the 80s, most of your bands that went on to become big, all played Gazzari's. And then you got, like I said, Roxy, Madame Wong's West was another one. The Troubadour was a real big one. I think it's still around. Troubadour was it wasn't in Hollywood. It was gosh, can't even remember where Troubadour was now. But that was another really big club to play. People like Elton John played there when they first started. Elvis Presley played there. A lot of Queen, I think, actually first played there in some of their first shows here in this country. And but those it was just awesome. Those playing in those clubs, and they all they had each one had their life of their own, but they were all kind of similar in that they were dark and they smelled, and the bathrooms. You didn't use the bathrooms,
Yeah.
um, but they all had just incredible cranking sound systems, really cool stages and lights. All the money went into that stuff, but I have a lot of really good memories of that time and playing in those places and that. And the East Coast, Florida is different. The clubs are real different in Florida. Well, the people are different in Florida, but so, um, strange people. So I didn't I didn't care so too much for a lot of the venues that we played, Absalon anyway. Um, I don't know. They didn't have the same vibe, the same excitement that the clubs on the West Coast had, you know, and that's just different feeling. It was fun to play though. I mean, just to get up on a stage.
Could
But
have it been just the time that it was too? That was just, felt like that.
yeah, well, I think it was the time period, and Florida is the hotbed for death metal.
Right.
A lot of your big, famous black metal bands came out of Florida. I mean, Marilyn Manson came out of Florida, and so that Absalon, and now you see what Absalon sounds like. Um, we we would get a show playing with, usually there was 4 or 5 bands, on the ticket, and which is insane to begin with. But so we grew a pretty good following in Florida. So let's say we were, fourth band or third band out of 4, whatever. They would have us pigeonholed in between all these death black Viking metal bands.
Mhm.
So here we got these screamo bands that are, and then we get up there, and you got this, Jeff Tate type singer and actually singing melodies and, singing. And it was really funny because we'd have our crowd there to see
Yeah.
us. But the other people that were there, see the black metal bands, they'd be, I'd look out and I could, after about 2 songs, you see people just stand there going, it's like, they're playing music, you know. But we'd always win over new fans, people would come up after we were done and they say, "Oh, we were here to see, Death and Blood band, and um, you guys are really good." Okay, cool, thanks, appreciate that.
Sometimes that's not a bad thing though, because like you say, you're with all those bands, like all those death metal and heavy bands, but sometimes people need a break from that, and you were that
Yeah.
break, and you were something different. So sometimes that, it works out that way. It works out in a good way.
Yeah, I
No, we,
think variety is a good thing, especially when it comes to a lineup, because, I mean, look, I've been to a bunch of Ozfests and I had a great time, but, it's like you have all metal bands that, follow, they fall under that umbrella of, metalcore or thrash metal or new wave of American heavy metal and this and that. And like the music just gets more intense and intense and intense. It's like, I like dynamics in my
Mm.
shows,
mm,
like that was one thing I loved about Castle Heights, which was a venue in Queens, where I grew up, and Wayne used to play that show all the time. It's like, you could see his old band, Phoenix Rain, play with a hardcore band and with an alternative band. And it's like, and nobody was dicks to each other. It's like, when the band gets on stage, you'd be like, hey man, good show. Um, but unfortunately, Castle Heights is gone, CBGB's is gone. And I
mm.
swear, if you went to the bathroom at CBGB's, chances are you will survive the zombie apocalypse. Um, Continental's gone, Tramps is gone, it's a real shame, I empathize for the kids who, love what music scenes were back in the day, and they can't have that unless they do it in their own backyard,
Mm.
Yeah,
which I recommend. Do it in your own backyard.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the same, deal with the clubs in the West Coast. Primarily in Hollywood, North Hollywood, the Sunset Strip. Um, it was just especially the weekend. I mean, we would go if we were playing a Saturday night wherever, say the Roxy or something like that. And, we go out there on a Friday night and plaster our, flyers on anything that didn't move. And then sometimes things that did move and promoting the show. And it was just the atmosphere, especially in the 80s, the decadent 80s. The atmosphere was it was just alive. It trying to even explain or describe what it was like is really difficult unless you were there, and experiencing it as a band. But it was just electric on the strip. The lines would just be halfway, down a block or longer at all the clubs. Everybody Friday night, Saturday night, and they were going to the clubs to see, their favorite band or to see the new bands that were coming out, and it was really exciting, and I think that's what I felt was lacking in Florida, and I think it had a lot to do with the time. It wasn't the 80s. Um, this wasn't the same electricity when you go to the clubs. It was just like, you know, eh, and people, they wouldn't well, like you were saying, they would go and see another thing in Florida is tribute bands. Tribute bands are huge in Florida.
Everywhere. I don't think it's
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
here
Florida.
too.
Here it's insane here.
Anyone want to go see Foreign Journey? I don't.
and so you go to to do a show, and you know if you had a club that maybe seats 150, 200 people or whatever, and it would be half full, maybe a little half full. Um, but then right down the street, yeah, there'd be a tribute band playing, and the place would be packed. And it's like, why aren't you over here supporting the new bands and the ones that are trying to get somewhere instead of going and seeing the Ozzy Osbourne tribute band down the street? And they're not even that good.
Yeah.
A lot of the tribute bands suck, but I don't know. People's attitudes are different. It's not the 80s.
I just saw, and I hate to, say anything bad about bands, but there was a tribute band on Facebook lately, an Ozzy tribute band that's been promoting on Facebook. And there's an actual song like that they have playing. I forget which song oh no, I think it's War Pigs. I think it's War Pigs.
Is it Osmosis?
I don't know if it's Osmosis. I don't know. I've been seeing the ad on Facebook, but anyway,
Okay.
the drummer can't even play the parts right. And it's like, do you not hear what you're doing? Like, it's not right.
Well, every drummer that Ozzy's played with that's played War Pigs all play it differently. Tommy Aldridge doesn't play it
the
like
guy's
Bill
not even
Ward.
hitting the kick drum in the right spots. It's not. I don't know.
You got to send me this video. I got to check it out.
I hate to, because what if you know who they are?
Then I will not mention it.
And even in the comments, it was like, "You guys need a new drummer." I was like,
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah. It's a shame
Well,
because it looks like it had a nice drum set, but you can have a nice drum set, but you got to learn how to play it first.
yeah. I mean, it's funny. One of my favorite lines for Dawn of the Dead, is when Ken Foree says, "The only guy that probably couldn't shoot a gun like this is the sucker with the bread to buy it." And I kind of apply that same logic to instruments. Just because you can pay for a $15,000 guitar, do you know what you're doing?
Right. Yeah.
oh,
Exactly.
yeah, you can have a Neil Peart sized drum set, but if you don't know how to play the damn thing, then um, I had to move in the room because my phone's ready to die, so I had to
Oh,
get
No
I
up.
thought
worries.
I thought you were gonna give us a tour.
Well,
Because he just moved into a new home. Well, it's not new; it's a new old home. And you've been
yeah.
posting it how haunted it's been lately.
I love it.
I'm gonna tell you what, this house is. We've lived in two other houses. The one that we owned in Florida, and then the first house we owned here when we first moved here, and they both are haunted. Um, This house is off the chain.
Yeah.
I kid you not. This place is just it's nonstop here.
You just had something happen the other day. What was it? Well, you
Oh,
had a bunch of stuff happen. You had you heard footsteps upstairs or something, right? And then you were recording something. I think you just posted this yesterday. You were recording something, and then you went to go play it back, and it was backwards or something.
it. I had to record a jingle for I can't. It's called New Vibe Radio, I think, or
Uh,
something. Anyway, the guy from the station contacted me and wanted to know if I guess they're playing our music, so he wanted to know if I do a jingle. Um, the hi, this is Ken Pike from Absolon. You're listening to. So I went up to my wife's studio and had her record it for me. So she recorded it, sounding fine. We played it, it sounded fine. And then she consolidated it and then put it into a web file thing. And then she put it on the computer so that she could send it to me. But before she sent it to me, I was like, well, let's listen to it one more time, make sure it's cool. So she played it, and the damn thing was playing backwards. It was what the hell is that?
yeah.
And so
And you're
she
not
put
new
it
to
back.
recording either, so you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she put it back onto Ableton, and we listened to it again, and it was backwards.
Hmm.
So I recorded it again, and it was the second time was fine, but when we played it back, um, I said, "Hi, this is Ken Pike from the metal band Absolon," and it repeated. It was like metal band, metal band.
Hmm.
Like, what the heck is going on with this thing? But and like I posted, 35 years or so worth of recording, and I never had that happen unless we did it on purpose. And there was a couple of songs that I've actually done backward masking on purpose. But you can hear it. It's done
Yeah.
never had that happen. And neither has my wife. We were both really kind of creeped out. Like, okay, this is really freaking bizarre, man. But all we can chalk it up is to, poltergeist or whatever is here, just letting us know that, hey, we're here. I don't know, but it's just one thing after another in this house, with things happening. And I hear on the second floor, I'm constantly hearing a woman talking.
Is
Really?
it saying Carol Ann, don't go into the light?
Don't go into the light, Carolyn. No, yeah. Now, if I start hearing, but yeah. So I don't know. We think that is the could be the previous owner, the one that we right before we got the house, Barbara. Um, and you can it's very audible. You can hear it. Someone speaking very clearly, but you just can't make out what they're saying. It's like somebody's like, it's like that.
Hmm.
Hey, someone's talking. I don't see them, but I don't understand what they're saying.
Hmm.
So it's just in the always the footsteps up and down the stairs on the second floor. We'll be downstairs and we just hear people walking around on the wood floors, and sometimes sounds like they're moving furniture.
Really?
And so this house is definitely, like I say, it's off the chain haunted.
Wow. Now you do paranormal investigating. Are you going to do that in your house?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We wanted to wait a little bit until we got more settled in, and then we're going to do an investigation. We've already got um, several people that want to be guest investigators, and we've found two guys that are going to be our camera guys.
Hmm.
Um, for they're going to be our always camera guys. We kind of hired them to. So when we go out and do other investigations, they'll do our camera work
Hmm.
and that. So, but yeah, we're going to do an investigation definitely here, and then do our little show, the Dark House, and that. So, um, but yeah, it's a good thing we're used to living in haunted houses because some of this stuff is kind of creepy.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do that, but get one of those spirit box things or whatever, and
Hmm.
but I don't want to open anything up here. I just I don't want to get crazy. I'll leave that to you. You're in your house there.
Well, you're not necessarily going to open anything, a portal or anything
Yeah,
like that.
I'm not taking that chance.
I do
I
love
gotta make
doing
Um,
sure.
ghost trails, but this sounds very scary.
it 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 can it, if you don't experience this stuff, or if you've never experienced this it can be kind of scary. When you're hearing, you know, walking, you know, on the like the second floor, and it's not just like boom boom. I mean, it sounds
It's not like
like,
house settling noises.
huh?
It's not house settling noises. That's actual like
No.
footstep
Or
noises.
raccoons in the crawl space.
Well, and I try to debunk things, and I thought, well, maybe there's an animal up getting in the attic or something, the unfinished part of the attic, but it sounds like if I was walking upstairs with my boots.
Mm.
It's very distinctive sound. You know when walking.
Yeah,
You,
yeah, yeah.
we know the difference between that and say the dog running up and down the stairs, which makes a clickety clack sound, or a cat running up and down the stairs or walking on the floor. It's more of a patty sound. Um, this sounds like someone with shoes on is walking around the upstairs. And then recently, I have found a few times now, we have a doorway that goes from the kitchen into the basement, and you've seen our basement. It was in the video, our first video,
Mm.
and I have been finding the door unlocked and the light on in the basement when I know the door was locked and the
Yeah.
light was off, because the basement is pitch black dark when the lights aren't on. I mean, you can't see down there.
Mm.
And this has happened 3 times now. Well, I come to find out that John, the husband of the previous owner of this house, that he spent a lot of time in the basement in his workshop down there, building things and doing stuff. So I don't know, is it John, going down to the basement to do something, you know, but that's kind of creepy, you
Yeah,
know.
it is.
It's like something is physically unlatching the door and turning the light on.
Yeah,
So
when you see something actually, well, you don't see it, but when you know that you locked it and it's open, it's like that's crazy.
yeah.
And the light
It-
too. That's scary. I'm never gonna go to your house.
oh, you'd be fine. I will introduce you. This is Wayne.
I
And
got your
I,
bed set up downstairs in the
It may
basement.
it may metamorphosize into an orb that looks like Wayne's head. Love you, Wayne.
that would be scary. Oh my God. Yeah, but it's all cool though. I mean, what do you want? A 111-year-old neoclassical Southern style mansion.
Yeah. God knows who's in there. That's been 110. What did you say? How many years?
111.
Uh,
111 years. So yeah, so there's 111 years worth of previous owners in that house.
well, there's only been 3 owners. We're
Oh,
the fourth.
really? All
Yeah,
right.
we're the fourth owner of this house.
Wow.
There was a death in the house. Matter of
Mm.
fact, in this room, one of the sons instead of going to a hospice, he wanted to be home.
Mm.
So he came back home, and they put a bed and everything in this room, and he died in this room. So, but I've not had any activity or any feeling or anything in this room. It's my living room. So I don't know.
Not yet, anyway. See what happens.
Yeah, now watch night something will.
Night, yeah, you all the lights won't even go on. It'll just be like flicking the
Yeah.
switches. And does it have those like new switches, or is those old switches in there, like light
Are,
switches?
are you here, Dean? You can come and talk to Wayne.
No, you stay there.
Anyway,
Uh,
oh,
yeah. Hold on one second. Actually, I gotta start my show.
His radio show, not his
yeah,
Yeah, my radio
yeah, I
show's on.
know. It's
Um,
a little after.
so what's your favorite thing about this new Absolon album? Besides me being on it.
Honestly,
Hmm.
and I look, I don't want your listeners, your viewers to think I'm blowing smoke up your and Alex's ass. I'm not. My favorite thing about this album is you and Alex.
Hmm.
Yeah,
very well put.
you guys really made the album what I wanted and brought it to life.
Did
So
you ever imagine it was going to come out the way it did?
I well, I didn't know how it was going to sound with Mark. It probably would have been a little bit like the last album because I
Hmm.
would, other than I would have had live drums,
Yeah.
um, but no, I didn't think I didn't know it was going to come out this good.
Yeah.
I
And it
can't
did.
wait for the next one.
I can't either. We're already starting to work. Well, you are anyway. You got some ideas going already.
Yep, already got two songs. And I think going,
All can't help
so
it, man. You know, when you got the bug, we already did one, so we got to keep going.
Yeah.
oh yes,
I mean,
yes.
that's the beautiful thing about it is the fact that, like, we don't have to answer to labels, telling us, we want you to write an album like this. We want you to work with this guy. We want you to be produced by that guy. No, we determine the output of our art. And that's a feeling I wouldn't trade for all the money in the world. Be nice
Mm,
to make a little, but I wouldn't trade it.
Yeah.
mm. No, I like that. Now we just got to figure out how to bring Lou into it.
God, now you just ruined the whole thing.
Well, I did volunteer. I said if you wanted me to do a solo on the next album, I'd be more than happy to.
Hey, I they talk if you talk it over with Alex, I'm sure he wouldn't care. If he don't care, I certainly don't.
All right. I mean, I'll ask him about it. I mean, he's probably like my favorite guitarist to, like, write material with and do solos with. And I don't want to overstep, my boundaries with him. I mean, Absalon is his time to shine when it comes to the rest and the solos. So I wouldn't want to take anything from him. But if he wants me to, I'll be happy to. It's well, we have an interesting like relationship when it comes to our songs. Like sometimes I'll write a song and I'll be like, Alex, you want to do the solo on this? And he'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. And then, like, for his stuff, he'd be like, Luke, can you do your noodly stuff over it? I'm like, you got it. So, we complement each other very well. He's just very easygoing and professional, which is all I ever freaking want from band members.
Yeah.
Well, look, there's a lot of room, and I'll leave it at this because I know you got to get to your other show. There's a lot of room because it is Judas Priestish, Queensryche-ish. Well, what do those bands have in common? They had two guitar players. So, there's room there. So, and Alex may appreciate the help instead of, me throwing this at him and then he's got to do everything.
Well, he did a wonderful job on the blood the blood seed. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's but I know I throw a lot at both of them.
Yep, there it is.
So
Must be nice to have a copy of the CD.
It is.
Stan is in the chat. He said, Ken's living good. He said, spirits are just complaining about the lack of fruit in his house. You don't have any fruit in there?
No fruit.
fruit.
You're gonna get
Yeah.
scurvy.
You got some fruit in the house for the spirits?
Uh,
Throw him a kiwi.
A
I,
mango, some grapes, maybe grapes.
I,
Everybody's got grape.
we got a lot of junk food.
No, they need fruit.
Come on, they're
Um,
vegan. Hook them up.
I-
Hey,
um,
got any grapes?
I,
You got that way.
I know the previous
did.
owners they smoked, and I smoked, cigars and stuff once in a while. So
Oh, what brand cigar is your favorite?
well, there was a time way back in the day when I would spend a lot of money on cigars, but over the last probably 10 years, I just get like an everyday smoke, just you know, um, I don't even know what the name of these ones that I get them all the time, but Churchill Maduro wrapped.
Oh,
And
those are good. Those are
yeah,
good. The Davidoffs are very good. I like a good My Father Bijou. It's a nice mild smoke, but it's very flavorful.
hmm. White. I mean, I used to smoke Cohibas and when I could get them because I had a friend and a Cuban friend, so I was able to get him when he go to Cuba. Anyway, uh, yeah, I was in law enforcement, but and then I got into there was this cigar. They're called acid cigars, and they're really good. But
Yes, we sell acid. I actually work at a cigar store part-time, and
oh
we do have acid, and they're a very popular brand too.
yeah, they got a. I like the pepper. They got a peppery taste and to them, and I like them. But yeah, but like I said, the ones I just they're just an everyday smoke because I can't afford to spend the money on them like I used to way back.
Oh, I
So
hear you. I mean, I
and
got some customers come in, they're dropping 300 a week.
oh
It's a
yeah,
lifestyle.
yeah, I would drop a lot of money on and get like a box of 25. Yeah,
Right.
$300 or more for a box of 25, and it got to be where it was getting a little ridiculous, and I
Yeah.
had okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm spending way too. I may as well go to gamble or something. What I'm spending
That's
here,
true.
but yeah. So yeah, I'm a singer and I smoke cigars, but I don't inhale. So
No, you can't inhale cigars.
no, you
You're not
can't.
supposed to.
No. You let everyone else inhale the smoke.
Eh, I don't. I've never inhaled.
Oh boy,
Monica, sorry, couldn't help it.
I
that was
never had sex
terrible.
with that woman.
That was a terrible impersonation.
I Wait, I'm battling a stomach bug right now. Bite me. You get what you
Oh
get.
my God.
That's
Wow.
why I'm drinking ginger ale. Thank you, Five Guys,
I'm
for your
fine,
overpriced.
guys.
Oh, great hamburgers.
I would love to have like an In and Out in New York, but that's never gonna
Oh,
happen.
I remember In and Out. Those were some
I think
good.
at some point, I think we'll end up getting one.
Mm.
We seem to get everything. It just takes years.
Yeah, we only got
Yeah.
Sonic out here like 10 years ago.
Yeah. And Chick-fil-A eventually came here, so it's it takes some time. But
Chick-fil-A is backing up traffic on the Hempstead Turnpike like you wouldn't imagine.
it only lasts for so long.
I don't know. You think you'd have places like that in New York. I don't know. I don't get it.
Well, Wayne and I live in the suburbs, not in the city. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
from the city originally, so
So no
yeah.
wonder you don't sound like you're from 33rd and 3rd over here.
Toady
Oh,
Toyd and Toyd.
Why do I sound that bad?
what? Hey, I
I,
used to.
I don't sound that bad.
No, you don't.
He's
You
saying
don't
we
have.
don't sound like that.
Oh, sorry. I
You
got
don't.
the music playing in the background.
You do. You have a little bit. I
I
can
do,
hear.
and it comes out when I get like
Angry.
aggravated.
I
It
can.
comes out.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah, that
Not
happens to me too.
I was around a lot of mafia guys. Um, I'm every from associates to maid guys to lieutenants to captains and all the way up to bosses.
Capo de jeans.
And I tell you something, I'd watch these guys, and they'd always when you knew they were serious and that you didn't want to like piss them off when they start doing this, you
If
know.
if you're listening, he's doing a killer facial De Niro impression
Yeah.
right now. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I heard
Almost looks just
things.
like him.
I heard things.
What? Am I funny? What, did I say something funny? Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I used to be able to do a killer mafia, New York mafia guy. You'd think I was like from the Gambinos or something. Well, I'm German. You know that,
yeah.
but when I was younger, and I was clean shaven, and I had hair, but I slicked it back, and people thought I was from the East Coast, and I slicked my hair back.
I still have it sitting right here too. This is what he looked like, clean shaven and with hair. By the way, that's him
Wait,
right
is that him in the
Yeah.
middle?
right there. Yeah,
Well,
Oh dear God on
that's
high.
not a vampire. That is Ken. Yeah.
Dude, you got a
that was the
puffy
count.
shirt.
Yep.
As I got older, though, beyond that, that's only something there. Um, and I would keep my hair shorter and then slick back. And everybody thought I was Italian.
Hmm.
You know, I, well, do I look Italian? They go, you look like a stone cold Italian.
Kinda, a little bit.
Yeah, I think I probably still do, but I'm German. And
He looks like he could roll with the guys, the frequents at Matador Cigars in Massapequa on Sunrise Highway. I'm there Sundays and Thursdays.
That wasn't a
well,
plug at all.
and that's the thing about but people would so I really could get them back then. I could convince you I was probably either connected or a made guy or something. And that the cigar goes really well when you got the cigar and and you're using it the point. What did I tell
Yeah.
you? You know, you don't want to fuck with me.
Damn, Wayne's more New York than us.
Why is this thing not playing?
Because it
What do you?
doesn't like you.
That's the ghost.
Ah,
Uh
it's
huh.
playing it backwards.
Might be.
But I mean,
What?
like, I definitely had a Queens accent, but then I fell in love with a girl from Hicksville and I lost it, but I didn't I didn't gain a Long Island accent. Unfortunately, it doesn't sound like I'm from anywhere right now. So I am a man without a country. But I do have a funny story though. I did go to Greece 9 years ago with my wife. We went for my cousin's wedding, and we were on the island of Rhodes. And I'm fluent in Greek because it's my first language, and that's where my parents are from. So I told Aaron, I said, Aaron, that's my wife. I said, listen, don't say anything because if they know you're a tourist, they may try to up the price on you. So I asked him, in Greek, I asked for 2 vanilla ice creams, please. So I said, "Dyo vanilla pagotosa parakalo." That's what I said. And then the guy behind the counter goes, "And where are you from?" I'm like, "How bad is my dialect?" And he said, "Pretty bad." I said, "Shit." So I'm a man without a country, and that's
It's all
okay.
in dialect.
It's all in the dialect, yeah.
It is. That's how. Uh, when, I mean, yeah, I can do a New York accent, but when I was a kid growing up, as Wayne knows, I was raised in a very traditional Southern household, so everyone in my family had very thick North Carolinian accents.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was growing up, I of course I'm around my parents, I'm around all my relatives and stuff, so I sounded like I was from the South. I had a drawl, and as I got older, um, people, other kids were like, "You talk funny."
Oh,
Because I'm in
come on.
California, I'm in Los Angeles, is a kid, and they be, "Why do you sound like that?" And I'm, well, I don't know what you mean. Why do I sound like what? They say, you sound funny. And
Yeah.
so then I really started when I got to be a teenager. I really started working on losing any hint of a Southern accent. And
Mm.
then I guess maybe I sounded like I was from California. I don't know. But then when I moved to Florida, after years in Florida, because they all talk like this in Florida too. Um,
We know
it all
Skinner's from there.
Leonard Skinner, yeah, and I think Miley
Yes,
Hatchet,
Molly Hatchet. Yep.
yeah, yeah, all the big Southern rock bands from Florida, and so it started. I found that it started coming back. So now, unless I consciously think about it, and I don't, I just speak normal. If I just start talking, then it starts coming out,
Hmm.
and I start sounding fun.
Yeah, but like everybody who comes from a certain geographical area in the United States sound like they're from that place. Like you could tell if someone's from California, especially if they're
Yeah.
from the Valley. You could tell if someone's from Philly because they all talk like this. They have like a very thick accent. I still can't figure out the Jersey accent, but sometimes I think Jersey wants to be Staten Island. Jersey, you could take Staten Island. Um, my wife's grandfather, God rest his soul, he was a World War II veteran, and I got to know him very well the last 14 years of his life. You want to talk old New York? He moved to this country in 1926 from Cyprus with his mother and his siblings.
Wow.
And, he says, we were raised in a cold water flat in Washington Heights on a 123rd Street. Like he did the IR
Uh huh.
for like words like toilet. So it sounded like toilet, and he did the OI for words that had the IR, so it sounded like feist or tide. And I'm like, my God, this is old New York. I love it because it's like you can see that in like a Marx Brothers film. You can see that in a Three Stooges, but
Uh huh.
or like any of the classic gangster films. But you don't get that anymore. And Wayne
Wow.
left. Where'd he go? But I'm such a fan of history, you know.
Mm.
Like I just something on my bucket list is eventually I'd like to go to like all the places in New York and Long Island that once housed like venues. Like I'd love to see the old location of the Daisy where Kiss played their first
Mm.
concert in Amityville. I'd love to go, you know. I don't like what CB's has become now, but that's okay. Like that would be cool,
That
and
would,
to like speak with people that were there. So
yeah. I mean, you can almost. Yeah, that sounds like a book. I mean, to do a history of all the lost venues. Like, all around the country. Yeah, that would be really cool. That'd be cool. Go to the West Coast and all those cool places.
that would be awesome.
Do you have to do your other show, Wayne?
Yeah,
He's doing it as we speak.
I'm doing it as I speak. And actually, I messed up because I didn't have the volume on my phone and it wasn't showing up with the right song. And I thought things were messed up and I played the whole thing. Yeah, it's a mess right now. But I
But
do
you
have
have,
another interview.
What do you mean
yeah,
I'm off my rocker recently? What is this gabagool? I think that's Stan.
Gabagool.
Yeah, it's Stan. That is Stan.
Yeah, Joey Baba Ganoush in the house.
Eh,
Anyways,
At least he's watching. That's all that matters.
Forget about it.
All right. Well,
yeah, don't call
Okay.
him Ukrainian. Nope.
but everybody needs to go check out that Absolon album, not just because I'm on there, but because it's a really good album. It's called The Blood Seed, and they can get it where? At no life till metal, no life till metal.com, right?
No Life Till Metal Records.com.
All right. All right. Yeah. So go get it
Excellent,
up there.
excellent album.
And it's on all streaming platforms too. So if you're too cheap to go buy a CD, then you can listen to it on there.
You
But go buy the
bastard.
CD because that's what keeps the band alive.
Yeah, and it's got your picture in there.
That's right too. You want to see the pictures. Yeah.
You can cut it out and pin it up on the wall. It's great.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well, Ken, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you
Had a
very
lot
much,
of
Mr. Pike.
Well, thank you guys for having me, and I always enjoy talking to you.
Yep, and can't wait for the next Absolon album to get started, and that'll be a lot of fun too.
Yes,
Definitely.
And
we have started.
it'll top the next album, the last album.
I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah.
All right, get out of here,
Cheerio, sir.
everybody.
All right.
See you next
Later.
week. Actually, you can go join me right now. I'm on freeworld.fm, and I got another band coming up called Wild Charge. So listen to me on there. All right. See you guys next week. Bye bye.
I don't know,
Bye.
Jace.